Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on the news briefing for this Wednesday. Consumer scams are not new, but scammers continue to use new methods to try to relieve you of your money. How can you protect yourself from a scammer? What do you do if you encounter something suspicious? And then what should you do if you feel you have been scammed? We are very pleased today to have two county staffers from our district attorney's office, Justin Bell and Mirco Haag, and they're going to share some very important information on scams. Gentlemen, thanks very much for being here today.
Thank you. We're happy to be here. My name is Mirco. I'm a deputy district attorney in our consumer and environmental unit. And joining me today is Justin Bell.
Hello, and I am an investigator with the Monterey County District Attorney's Office, and I specialize in real estate fraud.
And I'm going to pull up a quick PowerPoint that Justin and I prepared. Hold on, let me see if I can share my screen. Here we go. Now, how is that?
We see it.
All right, very good. So, as Justin noted, he is an expert in real estate scams. We're not going to touch on real estate today. Instead, we're going to talk about crypto, which is the catch-all for all sorts of new financial products, most famous of which is Bitcoin. There's several others, Ethereum. For those of you who are online a lot, I'm sure you've run across Dogecoin and that sort of thing. But it's an emerging financial sector, which
Mirco,
means
real quick, you're on the. If you can switch the screens because you're on the.
Got it. Okay, let me see.
At the top, I think under display settings.
All right. Thank you, Justin.
No problem.
How's that?
I think that's better. Yes.
Very good. All right. So as I was saying, crypto. And we're going to talk about two type of common scams that involve crypto. And the first, wrong number scams. So what do these involve? Well, they begin very innocently. They're called wrong number scams because the wrong number texts you, someone not in your contacts. The conversation, might be like, hey, we met at a wedding, or, this is so-and-so, and it's, just they prey on people by the casual idle chatter that happens on text messages. And some people keep the conversation going, and eventually the conversation switches to crypto. And, this is, there's a lot of news articles. Bitcoin is worth $50,000 a Bitcoin. And all, this is, they start talking about their investments and their investment opportunities and how much money they're making. And, you went from, oh, I'm being polite to the stranger to, oh, maybe there's some money to be made. And, then it goes into encouraging the victim, that's usually the person receiving the text, to make an investment. And crypto is the wild west of financial products, and I won't make any pronouncements about it as an industry. People are welcome to invest how they will, but when you give money to a stranger, that money is as good as gone. And that's what happens here, where you often there's a fake trading app. The victim gets hooked. The text is from a stranger, you talk about money, it's too good to be true. They're like, oh, just download this new app. You can make all sorts of crypto investments on this app, and you move your real US dollars into this app, and you're willingly handing it over. And the money is not actually invested in crypto. it's gone. The more sophisticated versions of this involve, the victims might even try to play it smart. They'll put in a little bit of money. And this is why the fake trading app is so successful in these scams and why it's so often used, because it allows the victim to get a false sense of security. They'll put in a little bit of money, and then the investment works. They'll pull that money out, and then they'll put in more. Basically, it's like it's essentially a fancier, high-tech version of the scams people pull on the street. Like in the movies, you'll see people with the cups with the ball, and you gamble on which cup has the ball underneath, and they lure in the victims by letting them win once or twice. And the same thing happens here. So you start to put in money, you're starting to win a little bit. You might even pull it back out into a legitimate bank. You're back to your legitimate bank account. And that encourages the victim to put more money in. So how did these start? This is what text that Investigator Bell received looks like. So, it's just clearly a wrong number, never seen before. And Justin can provide more commentary on this. But when you do research into these wrong number scams, you come to appreciate just how similar all of these look, right? These were all pulled from the internet. I think we found some of these, I forget where, but because these were not received by Justin, we whited out faces and phone numbers. But you can see that they all look more or less the same. They're just, hey, this so-and-so, I am this person, and they all build from there. And they really, people are polite, people are nice, you engage with strangers all the time. It's one of the things that happen. And if you get I've gotten wrong texts, I've texted back. It's just polite. And they really prey on people's politeness. But where, where you don't have to start being rude to strangers. That's not what we're here to tell you. We're here to tell you that don't give your money to strangers telling you to invest with them, right? So this is a fake app. This was it looks like a legitimate crypto trading platform. One of the things that makes this type of scam successful and also insidious is because this is a new space and you have so many startups, it's really hard to tell the difference between an illegitimate app and a new startup. And I, for one, am not able to. The way you can protect yourself in this situation is if a wrong number is texting you and telling you to invest with them or with an app that they recommend, that's a red flag. There are, if you want to go out into the world and invest in crypto, go for it. But do your own research. Don't trust the stranger that texted you from an unknown number. And that's, it takes a few extra steps to do some research, but a lot of the major investment platforms do offer crypto financial instruments, and that might be something that people who are interested should explore. But really, if it's too good to be true, it usually is. And what makes this a scam is you're handing, the perpetrator is using lies and deceit to get you to willingly hand the money over from your bank account to them. And they use fake apps. Sometimes you go to a Bitcoin ATM and direct it directly to their wallet. Which brings us to the second scam, impersonation scams. So just like the wrong number scam was basically pretending to be, well, they are strangers. They're not pretending to be strangers. But this one, people are pretending to be an authority figure. So this is, we've received several reports of victims in and around Monterey County. And this is quite a common scam in other regions too. Basically, you'll get a call from a person. They'll claim to be an authority figure, the sheriff's office, the FBI. They'll essentially have you withdraw money from the bank, and they'll have you place it in a cryptocurrency account, or you'll buy gift cards, and we'll get to that in a bit. And that's when the money's stolen. Because again, the fraud and deceit is what is, in all of these scams, you're handing, the victim is handing over the money willingly. No one generally hands strangers money. Why is this happening here? Well, the fraud and deceit, right? That's what makes it a crime. And what's happening here is you'll get a call like, hey, I'm with the FBI, your bank's been compromised. Or I'm with the sheriff's office, there's a warrant for your arrest, because of some unpaid fine or some other reason. And the best way to protect yourself here is government agencies, and I can say this with some fair confidence, will never ask you to buy crypto or gift cards. That's generally the first red flag. And a lot of this is about crypto because that's the main area of that's the new growth area. But really, gift cards and crypto have a lot in common. They're hard to unwind, right? Like one of the defenses here is that if you are trying to claw your money back, it's a lot harder with gift cards and crypto. Once the money is gone, it's gone. It's essentially when something is trying to be like cash, it's like cash, and it's hard to get back without getting your physical hands on it. But really, a lot of these scams can be quite sophisticated. When they claim to be from the sheriff's office, one of the complaints we've received, the person asked for the badge number, and while they were on the phone, they Googled the badge number, and it turns out that was a real sheriff's deputy with a real, the name matched they managed to, and so there isn't, in that moment, you're like, oh, this seems more legit. But and people, by and large, want to do the right thing. And this is where this, again, is the point of weakness. And we're not telling people to not do the right thing, quite the opposite. But what we are suggesting is that if someone is recommending that crypto or gift cards are the solution, that's the red flag, and that's a scam.
Mirco, if I can just add to what you said.
Absolutely.
Any information that you can Google to verify what they're telling you, they have access to that same amount of information. So these scammers are doing research. They know whatever's publicly available online. So if they're giving a name and a badge number that you can Google, that means that they could have Googled the exact same thing. It doesn't actually verify anything. So the recommendation there is if you believe you're talking to the government agency, hang up and call them back from a known number. I make these types of phone calls all the time, and I am absolutely pleased when someone says, hey, I'm going to call you back and verify who you are, because I know that person is protecting themselves from someone being an imposter of me or my position. And so just because with the rental scams, even though we're getting into that, just because the house does exist with that address doesn't mean you're talking to the actual owner. And just because there's a name and badge number online doesn't mean you're talking to the real police department.
That's exactly right. And a lot of these impersonation scams will discourage you from hanging up. They'll try to keep you on the line. And that itself is a red flag. If anyone is telling you to not hang up, they're telling you they have to stay on the line with you. That's likely a scam, or that could be a scam. And you hang up and you call the agency the person is claiming to be from directly. A lot, these are pretty common. Like this is an alert that the Saskatoon Police Department put out, this is not a Monterey County, this is not a unique issue to Monterey County. It is in fact a global issue, right? And so one of the cases that we had here in Monterey is someone claiming to be from the FBI encouraged a victim to withdraw money from a bank account and go use a Bitcoin ATM. No one in a government agency will ever do that. Crypto and gift cards will never be used to pay bail, remove a warrant, pay a fine. That's just not something government agencies do. There's a lot of resources out there. I listed here 3 government agencies. The FTC has actually sued Walmart about how Walmart's control of gift cards. Essentially, Walmart makes a lot of money from the sale of gift cards, and there's less incentive by Walmart to stop people from buying Walmart gift cards. And the Federal Trade Commission has a pending lawsuit right now in Illinois against Walmart regarding the lax controls around gift cards. And that's because if things are like cash, they're just as hard to trace as cash. And so there's also numerous articles out there to do more research. CNN just did, I believe, a deep dive on the impersonation scams. These, again, are global issues that tend to target our community, but they are global. A lot of impersonation scams originate from overseas. The CNN article went out to this. It's essentially a small city, small town, just whose entire industry is oriented around scams and getting crypto currency illegitimately. And so it's just something that as we move forward, we as a community just need to be more aware of it, and which is one of the reasons we're doing this press conference. The best defense is prevention. And as Justin said, if someone's calling you from a government agency or from law enforcement and it doesn't feel right, hang up and call them back from a known number. Government agencies will never ask you to take money out of your bank account and use that to move it into crypto or gift cards. And likewise, if someone's texting you out of the blue to talk about crypto, even if your crypto, you want to get in on this new industry, there's likely better ways of doing it than following the advice of a stranger who texted you out of the blue. And so, because once your money is, the reason these scams are popular is it's very hard to claw your money back. And there's some there, especially with crypto, there's been some high profile successes, but with gift cards, the reason they're harder to trace is people will get a gift card and use that to buy another gift card, and there's just a chain of gift cards, and then it's basically like cash, and it's just gone.
And Mirco,
so,
add one thing to your prevention is the best defense. If you or if the community doesn't feel like they themselves are vulnerable, do everyone a favor, reach out to someone in your life that you think might be vulnerable, because these scammers prey on isolation, on that pressure tactic, and on that fear. And the way to break that is to outreach to people in the community and say, hey, if you ever get a phone call from the government, call me first, or let's work through this together, because they prey on that isolation and preventing the person from talking to trusted friends and family to talk them out of it, essentially.
That's right. And that isolation, it can be momentary. That's why they scammers try to keep you on the phone, or they try to text you directly, because, when it's just you and your text messages, that itself is a form of isolation. But they're really trying to get people who aren't able to reach out and access a wider network. And so, as Justin said, I talked to my parents about this. you know, my mom today reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I got this weird text." Like, well, don't answer that. And so it's a good conversation to have with people whenever, it's also just a fun anecdote. It's like, take a look at these crazy texts that people have been getting. Or man, crypto, isn't that crazy? Let's not do that. Some sort of something like that. So it doesn't have to be as scary. And so, yeah, with that, any questions?
First, thank you both very much for a really fascinating presentation and really terrific information. We get these at our offices in our work emails too. So people could get them on their personal accounts, but they can also get them at work. And just because you get it on your work email doesn't mean it's safe either. So
Yeah. It's amazing. I work for law enforcement. I get scam phone calls to my personal phone, to my work cell phone, and to my desk phone all the time. And it's really incredible. I answer the phone, Investigator Justin Bell, and they just go ahead and try and scam me. So nobody's safe.
First, I want to invite anyone who's listening, because I did get some questions by email, which I'll go ahead and ask you. But is there anyone who's viewing right now who has questions for Mirco or Justin? Okay, I'm not seeing any. So the questions that these media questions I got by email, is there any particular target age group that is the scammers are going after? In your presentation, you showed some texts, but there could be maybe older people that don't get texts that often, or any particular age group.
Well, I'll say that they cast a wide net. And so the way that the scams are built is that they send a message to every single person that they can reach. And the people who are maybe a little bit interested are the ones who self-select and start responding. And so that's how they narrow their pool down, is that they can send a text message to everyone in the county. And if only 0.5% respond, then that's the group that they're going to start working with. They definitely have found that some of our more elderly residents are less savvy in some of these areas, and so might be more susceptible. And so when I think about reaching out to people in my life, I think about grandparents, parents, people that are not as computer savvy and may not understand some of the things that are being explained over the phone, and are more likely to cooperate with someone that reaches out of the blue.
Justin, you had an interesting statistic. One of the cases we investigated, it was one of the things that's useful and helpful in our investigation is what number was used to contact you. And you found that they, like, one phone number reached out 50,000 times or something like that.
It was a huge number. I did get some information from one of the text phone apps that allows people to generate new phone numbers on the same phone, and they had just been reaching out to a huge number of people for a rental scam, and it's just amazing the amount of outreach that they can do to reach their victims.
Yeah, so to Justin's point, it's a wide net, and I think the pitch is tailored to who responds. There was a recent I'll say a spree of people of scammers in the Bay Area targeting nurses and physicians who tend to, they're still in their careers, and the scam there was they were alleged, it was an authority, it was the sheriff's office, it was some police department calling to say that the person had missed a court appearance as an expert witness, and that the court had put out a warrant for them. And nurses and physicians, it happens that you're an expert witness. So it wasn't, and you're busy, and all of a sudden you're getting a call from the police department. And so they're telling you not to hang up, and you're already busy, it's interrupting your workday. And so, yes, scammers can and do target, people who are retired or less tech savvy, but it's, it happens to everybody because it's, isolation doesn't just have to be because you are 85 and living alone. It can also be because you are just a very busy 45-year-old professional and there's just no one you can reach out to check in with during a busy day, right? That's still, you know, and that's a classic case of just hang up and call the relevant police department, but they only need to get one person to, right? And that's one victim too many. And so they'll, you know, and those texts, I'm sure, if you remember them, they're clearly oriented towards a younger crowd. You know, the crypto, you know, young people afraid of, you know, FOMO, fear of missing out. That's not that. There's no age bracket for FOMO, and so it's you know, it's one of those things where, yes, they, you know, elderly are targeted, but so are other groups. The pitch is just different.
So you talked about some cases. This is a great warning, whether we get cases or not, but the fact is you do have cases you're investigating. Can you talk about, you know, how many cases are just the tip of the iceberg? People may not want to confess that they've lost, you know, money to scammers.
You know, if the number of scam phone calls and text messages that I get personally is any indication, the outreach is always there, is ever present. My thought and what Mirco and I have discussed is that it is just the tip of the iceberg, because as the DA's office, we get referrals from local law enforcement. So some of these are being reported to local law enforcement, some are being reported directly to the district attorney's office, some are being reported to the FBI through their website, ic3.gov. So in order to actually aggregate statistics is not easy to do.
Well, so if people do, if they find themselves in this situation or they find something that they really know is a scam, should they report it to your office, or what should they do?
So at the very basic level, ic3.gov is the Internet Crime Reporting Center run by the FBI. That's a great place to start. You just fill out a web form to put in the details. And the nice thing about that is, for, you know, when you haven't lost any money and you're not really worried about or thinking that it's going to be a viable investigation, but they keep track of crime trends. Those reports are searchable by law enforcement. So if there is a case that hits and makes kind of some progress, they're able to aggregate all of the victims in one place. And it helps them with some of their outreach and crime trends type information. The next stop is local law enforcement, because they're the ones with primary jurisdiction. And if you need additional assistance, and sometimes the local law enforcement investigators will reach out to us for some additional investigative assistance, because we don't have the capacity to investigate all of the scams that take place throughout the county.
Thank you. Thank you both very much. It was just really terrific information. And boy, I know I'm going to look at my emails a little bit differently now that I've seen some of the examples that you've shown me.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you for having,
very much.
thank you for having us.
And now on to our next topic. There have been some changes in Medi-Cal benefits, and they are now in effect, and more people may be eligible for these benefits. What are the changes? We are very happy to have Yaneth Venegas from our Department of Social Services Community Benefits to talk about the changes to Medi-Cal. Hi, Yaneth.
Hi, Amaya. Thank you so much for inviting us today. Joining me today, I do have Annette Gallegos, our Assistant Deputy Director, as well as our Administrative Service Assistant, Ramona Bugarin. And yeah, we are here to deliver some updates concerning the adult expansion. I do have a short PowerPoint that I'd like to share. Let me get that up here. All right. So just before we get into the recent expansion, I wanted to just kind of provide a little bit of an outline, kind of some of the events that led to the most current adult expansion that is impacting our individuals 26 years of age and 49 years of age. The adult expansion for individuals ages 26 to 49 is an implementation model after the implementation of the young adult expansion to eligibles under the age of 26, which occurred on January 1st, 2020. Which later we saw the older adult expansion for individuals 50 years of age or older, which occurred on May 1st, 2022. So most recently on January 1st, the last phase, which is our adult expansion for individuals 26 to 49, took place. So this happened on January 1st. The state of California did change the eligibility rules to expand full scope health coverage to adults in this age group. And this is regardless of their immigration status. So individuals could be eligible if they were not previously enrolled in restricted scope Medi-Cal before January 1st, if they live in California, and if they're 26 to 49 years of age. They do still have to meet the income eligibility limits based on their household size. And so with this expansion, in Monterey County alone, 18,333 individuals in this age group expanded to full scope coverage. And so this is just some of the outreach material that was put together by DHCS and which was used to promote the changes that took place on January 1st. So our system automatically completed a batch process transitioning eligible adults from restricted scope Medi-Cal into full scope Medi-Cal. There was no need for them to apply. Anybody who applied for Medi-Cal after January 1st, 2024, if they are eligible, they will automatically be enrolled into a full scope aid code, and immigration status will not be a condition of eligibility. So full scope Medi-Cal is different from restricted scope Medi-Cal. Full scope Medi-Cal does cover preventive services. It covers doctor's visits, it covers prescription medication, vaccines, mental health care, substance use care, vision, dental care, emergency services, and also there are referrals to specialists and much more. Here to the right, I did include the website for DHCS, just if anybody's interested in obtaining more information concerning the services that are covered by full scope Medi-Cal. And one very important thing to keep in mind as well is that this change does not affect individuals' immigration status. So applying for a state-funded Medi-Cal will not make an individual a public charge. It will not affect their immigration status or their chances of becoming a lawful permanent resident or their chances of becoming a naturalized citizen. I did include here some links to just get a little bit more information if anybody's interested. There are some exceptions though that do apply to this, and that is like if individuals enrolled receive long-term care in a nursing home or in another facility paid by the government through the Medi-Cal program, or if the information supplied on the Medi-Cal so individuals, again, who were previously enrolled in restricted scope Medi-Cal before January 1st, transitioned automatically. There was nothing that they had to do. And these individuals were mailed a notice in early December notifying them of the change that was scheduled to happen right first. So anyone can still apply today. We have 5 different options to submit an application. We offer an option to come in person to one of our district offices. We have 3 district offices. We have one in Salinas, one in Seaside, and one in King City. We also offer the option to complete an application over the phone, as well as completing a manual application and faxing it to the number provided here. But we also offer an online option. There is an option to submit an application on benefitscal.com. And here's the information. One last change is that also occurred on January 1st is that the asset limits are waived for the Medi-Cal program. So this means that verification will no longer be required unless the property is income generating. For example, if where a home is used as a rental and income is generated from that property. And that concludes the updates that I have for you today. Annette, Ramona, I don't know if you want to chime in and add anything to the information I just provided. Thank you.
Yaneth, thank you very much for running this down. Any of your colleagues, do they want to add anything? I know we had a little audio problems, Yaneth, with your audio, but I think we got most of it.
Yeah, no,
Sorry
thank
about
you. Thank you, Yaneth. I think the only thing that we want to add is that, this was a kind of our 3rd phase of the Medi-Cal expansion, which I know she went over in the presentation. And we really do encourage customers to come in to apply or do it over the phone or online. But also, Yaneth is our outreach coordinator. So if there's any agencies that want presentations about Medi-Cal or want assistance on how to be a community-based organization to enroll and help enroll individuals on Medi-Cal or actually any program through that we provide any services, so CalWorks, CalFresh, or Medi-Cal, they can go ahead and reach out to Yaneth. There's also an MC Choice website that has information about the different programs. So we do look forward to hearing from other agencies because we do presentations. And as part of our outreach, she had already done presentations to multiple organizations that already help out in the community to provide application services and explain the process.
And then if anyone has questions for any of our social services staff, go ahead and put them in chat or feel free to raise your hand and ask. I do have a question about the outreach. You're talking about doing these presentations. You really are trying to dig in and find those residents who qualify for this but may not know that the changes have been in effect. Is that correct?
Yes, so we do, anyone who needs any services, we really do try to assist them to apply or to assist them in providing their reports or their annual redetermination. So Yaneth and her team is small but mighty. They do have a phone line and they also assist if needed to do a presentation for our community partners.
And Yaneth, did you say that there were 2,000 county residents estimated who would qualify for this change? There were, again, there was just a little audio hiccup, and I wasn't sure if that was the case.
So actually on slide 4, I do mention that 18,633 Monterey County residents ages 26 to 49 transitioned from restricted scope benefits over to full scope on January 1st.
All right, so and I that's where I that makes more sense. The 2,000 number, I wasn't sure what that is. Tell us a little bit more about you talk about making presentations to community groups. Are those groups going to be key to filtering this information down to residents who may not be aware of these services?
So our goal is really to push this information out. We want to provide this information to the general public as well as community-based organizations that can help us get the word out. We are happy to provide presentations, you know, to organizations where, you know, maybe they have the group of population they serve, or we're happy to deliver the information to them, you know, so that again, they're able to help us support in getting the information out. As Annette mentioned, we do partner. We have various community-based organizations that are currently on board and have an established account in Benefits-Cal, and they're actually supporting us by completing applications and submitting them on the customer's behalf. Our outreach team is currently working in-house, but we do continue to provide support over the phone, not only to Monterey County residents, but also to these community-based organizations. So whether it be that they have questions while they're submitting an application or just completing forms, the forms are not just exclusive to the Medi-Cal program. They are for all programs offered here at DSS. So anything from, you know, a request for verification or a recertification packet. Those are all things that myself and my outreach team are available to support with over the phone or by delivering presentations.
And this is really a great step for residents who were on this restricted Medi-Cal to be able to move into the full Medi-Cal. They're really getting services that they, you know, that they've never had before, and it can really improve their overall health and well-being.
That's right, Maya. Yes, I mean, I'm really, really excited to see the last phase. This really does change things for many individuals. I mean, this means that anyone who is income eligible can really access full scope services. So rather than, you know, sometimes waiting for an emergency, they have access to preventative services. So this is great. Yeah, this is life-changing for many.
Thank you. So we'll be sure to share your contact information with our media partners who are here, and then we'll share all the flyers and everything that you've sent with all of our partners. And we really appreciate you being on here today to talk about what the changes are and who is eligible, and encouraging people to find out for themselves. And they may not be eligible, but they might be. So there's no harm in trying to find out if you are.
That's right.
Maya, if we could also share and encourage the attendees to share on their social media, that we're on social media, because that's where we do promote some of these changes so that the community is informed. And we're on Facebook and Instagram.
And we also have flyers. Yaneth, I think you sent me some flyers. We're going to share those with all of our partners as well. So we really appreciate you being on here, and we're really happy to help you in this outreach effort.
Thank you so much, Maya.
Thank you.
Again, the takeaway today is if you're not currently enrolled in Medi-Cal, or if at any point before you were denied, please know that everybody is welcome to apply. You can apply as many times as you need to. There are so many different options, and if in doubt, please contact us. There are different ways to reach us. We're here and happy to help. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Thank you all. And thanks everyone for joining us on the news briefing this week. Our next briefing is next week, and we'll see you then.
Thank you. Bye.